folks. Hey, folks. If you could find your seats, folks. Hey, folks, if you could find your seats, we're going to get started here.
Hello, my name is Dave Smokler. I'm the head hunter for the Smokler Clark Parker table. We've succeeded my father, Ned Smokler. This was his table originally. He was one of the original founders. Hello, my name is Dave Smokler. I'm the head hunter. Hello, my name is Dave Smokler. I'm the head hunter for the Smokler Clark Parker table. We've succeeded my father, Ned Smokler. This was his table originally. He was one of the original founders of the Buck Dinner. He was a member of the Sugar Law Firm along with Ernie Goodman. And he told me the story of the Buck Dinner. That is, Maurice Sugar, who was general counsel for the UAW, homesteaded some property up on Black Lake. And he and his wife decided that they're going to have a dinner raising money for radical and leftist causes that have never, that don't receive funds from ordinary sources. And now the Buck Dinner has been going on for over 90 years. I've been involved since I've been a kid. So I've been involved for perhaps over 70 years in the Buck Dinner. We have a variety of people at our table. We have a good time. Back in the old days, they had what they call friendly socialist competition. The tables would compete against one another. They'd have several rounds of bidding and people would raise money, and the headhunters were responsible for bringing hard liquor to the table. Now people don't drink hard liquor so much. Maybe we'll have a little wine, and now it's potluck. I used to work in the kitchen. The hunting party would bring back some venison. We'd eat venison. Now we don't really have a hunting party anymore, and we don't eat venison anymore. It's changed from the old days, but we still are there for the same causes, for left-wing causes, for progressive causes that don't have any sources of funding, that the funding industrial complex will not fund them, and we do fund them, and we've been around for a long time, and I'm pleased to be here today. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, how you doing out there tonight? In person at the Buck Dinner and at home too. So, don't do anything you don't want seen online if you're in this general vicinity. It's a real honor. My name is Chris Buhalis. I'm honored to be here emceeing this shindig. I'm looking around this room and thinking about the last few years and how we couldn't all gather together. But I just need to tell you that a lot of the people in this room that I know, and I know some of you that I don't know, fit into this category. It helps me so much knowing that you are all in the world when times get hard, because things like the Buck Dinner and people standing up for each other are what we need now more than ever, and that's just a real honor to be here. So I'm going to get us started by singing one of Maurice Sugar's songs, and every year you should do it too. You can look on YouTube. It's on the internet. It's a series of tubes. I'm sorry, I'm going to get technical here because I'm trying for a Senate subcommittee. But there's a YouTube video of the sit-down strikers singing this song while they're locked in the plant on strike, and it's always reaffirming to me. Like we sometimes we run the risk of putting these songs in amber and in the movement itself, because we sing these traditional songs, and it's, we need to sing them with heart like we mean them. So it's good to check out from the source every now and then. And don't worry, I won't talk this much during the whole thing. I'm just a little nervous. I haven't been in front of a live crowd in a few years, When they tie a can to the Union man, sit down, sit down. When they give them the sack, don't take them back. Sit down, sit down. Sit down, take your seat. Sit down, rest your feet. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down. When they smile and say no raise in pay, sit down, sit down. When you want the boss to come across, sit down, sit down. Sit down, take your seat. Sit down and rest your feet. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down. When the speed up comes, just twiddle your thumbs. Sit down, sit down. When you need them to know they gotta go slow, sit down, sit down. Sit down, shake your feet. Sit down, take a seat. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down. When the boss won't talk, don't take a walk. Just sit down, sit down. And when the boss sees that, he'll want to chat. Sit down, sit down. Sit down and rest your feet. Sit down and take a seat. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down. Yes. And thank you. Maurice Sugar wrote that song, a lot of great songs, and started this dinner. You all know this. And we're going to start our program now. We have some videos here. And here's a video from last year's Buck Dinner grantee, Kate Levy.
Imagine you're on the Titanic. All of the lifeboats are gone. You have to not only find a way to stay alive, but you have to fix it so that this circumstance doesn't happen again.
The watering facility is where people have to drive in from miles and miles and miles and miles out with, their water barrels.
We are left with millions of cubic yards of radioactive material.
I started to keep all of these water quality violations every single quarter, every single year. 2002, 2003, 2004.
We're paying more for water than anybody around here, and it ain't fit to drink.
The monoculture of corn, soybean, hog, it is the dominant force in Iowa politics. They want to externalize the costs of production by putting a mess in the river that those of us downstream who depend on those rivers for drinking water have to finance to clean up.
I was getting water bills that were topping like $400 and $500 a month. My water was shut off for 8 weeks.
We become fiscally responsible where we got a credit rating. We got 5 $100 today, right now. It's like things not.
It shouldn't be something that's a homeowner.
Ms. Trader called me $114,000, and we don't have a septic tank because it's cost more than this house worth right now.
I learned that people were being arrested because they had problems with on-site sanitation. This is along the Selma to Montgomery March Trail. Every year, business people get on the bus and go and worship at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. But all along off these side roads where people are living in conditions that are akin to places around the world that don't have the kind of wealth that exists in this country, it makes absolutely no sense.
The water crisis is a political crisis.
If you try to fix water quality without addressing the power structure, then you're not fixing anything anyway.
I think I'll probably die thinking that I ain't done enough.
Gotta stay up. What do we get for what we gave? And survival should be the bare minimum.
Yes, the movie's going to premiere on June 10th. You can talk to Kate. She's, where are you? They told me she's at the table over here. You can talk to her. You'll find her. She's got a name badge on. But I'd like to bring up a couple of speakers now to talk to you. That video is just an example of some of the work that gets done with the money that we raise at the Buck Dinner. There are so many important causes. It was really great to hear in the opening video just how the people who founded this dinner specifically wanted to give voice to people who are underrepresented and aren't given a voice under our system. So I want to introduce Barbara Bearfield and Huwaida Araf now to talk to you about an important issue too.
Hi, everybody. This is so exciting to see so many people back here after not having the Buck Dinner for 3 years. So thank you so much for being here.
Just go right on that.
Okay.
No, just go right on this one.
On
right
this
here.
one, okay. So
I messed this up. Let's try this again.
we're going to try this again.
Take two. Yep. There you go.
So we'll start over
Sorry.
again. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see so many people back at the Buck Dinner. We haven't had this for 3 years. So you are the folks that help support so many incredible activities and campaigns and progressive movements here in Detroit, in the Metro Detroit area. So we thank all of us. We thank you so much from the Buck Dinner. I'm part of the Buck Dinner committee, but I'm also part of Jewish Voice for Peace. And I'd like to introduce you to Huwaida Araf, Lori Aljuni, did I pronounce that right? And Maya R. So this is the future, this is the generation that we're all working to try to make this planet and this city and this world a better place. So I just wanted to very briefly tell you about a campaign that Jewish Voice for Peace recently launched. Last month, just a few weeks ago, Huwaida was asked to speak to an assembly, a diversity assembly at the Bloomfield Hills High School. She did 4 presentations. She was invited by the students, and she was invited because she is an activist and a person of Palestinian descent. She's a Palestinian American, and she has experienced and worked for Palestinian justice and Palestinian rights for probably most of her life. And she spoke eloquently and forcefully about her personal experiences in this movement, both in America and what's happening to the Palestinians in Israel, Palestine, and particularly in Gaza, in the occupied territories. But she was very sensitive and very careful about how she presented the information because she knew she was presenting it to people that really didn't know the full narrative. And she wanted to have a stepping stone so that they understood what her personal story was. However, afterwards, there was so much uproar because a few of the students felt it was a narrative that they were not familiar with. They complained to their parents. The parents of some of the Jewish families complained to some of the Zionist organizations like the Anti-Defamation League. And they started attacking Huwaida for being a Jew hater, anti-Semitic, what else? Anti-Israeli. And what we believe and we know and we're working so hard at is to let people know both about what's the oppression that's happening in Israel and Palestine, but that to criticize the Israeli government and their policies and their military for what they're doing is not anti-Semitic. It actually goes... It's consistent with what I was brought up knowing as a Jewish person, to love your brothers and your sisters and to work for social justice. And that's what we're doing here. We started a petition drive just a few days ago, and within a few days we have almost 1,000 people signing from all over the world, including the Jewish Voice for Peace Rabbinical Council, that's about 50 rabbis from all over North America, and reverends and people involved in different religious institutions, ministers, and people working for peace and justice, and it's just incredible. And I'm going to tell you what if you haven't signed yet, I ask you to sign. And so, Sugar Law Center, National Lawyers Guild. The Sugar Law. Yep, the Sugar Law Center for Economic and Social Justice is one of our supporters. So we ask you to take action because we know that bigotry comes in many forms. We oppose the targeting of Huwaida Araf and the silencing of the Palestinian narrative with bogus charges of anti-Semitism. So if you go to https://bit.ly/O oppose -S sign. Maybe I can get this to flash on the screen at some time. Or I'm sitting in the back in the Bearfield Horowitz tables. Come back and I'll let you. We've got a little QR code. Come and sign with us, and we really appreciate it. So, Lori's been very active. We're going to have a town hall we'd like to let you know about in April, but we haven't confirmed the date. And Huwaida, please say a few words, Huwaida.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really great to be with you. It's such an inspiring crowd doing wonderful work, so it's a real honor. I just want to clarify, doing this work for Palestinian rights for over 2 decades, I am used to, unfortunately, being smeared by people who, for the most part, will justify anything that Israel does. But what is so alarming to me and why I think this campaign is so important is not necessarily to defend me, but it is to make sure that there isn't this chilling effect that makes people think twice or completely avoid talking about Palestinian rights. What has happened, my message there to the students, I told them about my experience, which involved me saying Palestinians are oppressed. We were working for Palestinian freedom. And my main message was that the students should look past their own identities and differences that oftentimes keep us siloed and recognize that every person, no matter race, religion, or ethnicity, is trying to make a life, get by in this thing we call life, and that if we keep that in mind, that every single person deserves the same rights that we want for ourselves, those kids will help make a better future, a future for my children and their children that they want to live in. So it was a message of unity, and I stress that we have so many Jews that stand with us. In fact, sometimes they are the most ardent supporters of Palestinian rights, and yet, because there was saying that Palestinians are oppressed or citing some fact of what happened and what I was working against, there was an uproar, obviously calling me an anti-Semite, completely negating or falsifying my message. And the most disturbing part is that the schools caved so quickly. The same day they sent out a message apologizing for speech that targets people or groups based on religion. And the next day, the superintendent sent out another message, a longer message apologizing for allowing anti-Semitic rhetoric in this, so that a school could cave so quickly, and they put the principal now on administrative leave for not dragging me off the stage. You know, and they called it hate speech because I said that Palestinians are oppressed, and people all over the world came to work with us to fight against policies that oppress people. We need to dismantle structures that keep people oppressed so that we can all live equally, free, and with our human rights respected, so that message is being vilified, and that people are being persecuted now or suffering consequences like the principal of this school, and there are still demands that more people be fired. That is outrageous. No other school district, no other person, no other organization is going to want to touch Palestinian rights, and that is a silencing that allows Israel to continue doing what it's doing. So that's why this campaign is important. It's not about me, unfortunately, I'm used to it, but it's about the principle in being able to speak up for a people that have been oppressed for decades so that we can change this awful system. So thank you for listening. I hope you sign on. If you have organizations signed on, we have over 160 organizations already signed on in addition to the 1,000 mentioned. And we want to make a strong stand in saying, no, criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitic. And in fact, we all have to unite. We all have to unite because we remember what the civil rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer said. Nobody's free unless everybody is free. So we need to unite to also make sure that the Palestinians can live free.
I'm going to keep what I have to say real short and sweet and very honest and open. And I'm going to say, this is more about not ever silencing voices. Not silencing voices. You have rights. There are human rights. And for somebody to speak up because their human rights have been violated, and then they've been silenced, this is where it ends. And this is what this whole campaign is about. So I want you to just kind of take what Huwaida said, take what Barbara Bearfield said, and then put it on like a larger plane of no voice should be silenced when we're talking about human rights. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. We do have a graphic to show you now. You know that we're here for a good cause, and we're raising money. And we have a nice thing called the Buckometer that's going to show us how much money we're raising. I don't know if I can do this. I might have to get the other microphone. I feel like I should be yelling at you right now. But we've already got up to $10,000 on the Buckometer, which is pretty good. We'll be keeping you updated as we go through the evening. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce someone who I don't believe that I've met, but I believe her father who started the Institute. I'm sorry, I didn't give people enough chance, so if you're here from the General Baker Institute to speak, I'm going to introduce you now so you know. But I was at a Labor Day party many years ago, sitting next to a man who, in conversation, it dawned upon me that he was one of the smartest people I'd ever met in my life, and he just kind of blew me away with his knowledge of labor in the city. We talked about how he worked at the same factory that my grandfather did and all these things. And I was embarrassed because we were at a mutual friend's house and I didn't know his name, and I asked, I introduced myself, and he said, "I'm General Baker." And I was immediately embarrassed because I had heard many tales of General Baker over the years, and I feel very blessed that I got to know him even a little bit. But I want to invite Carolyn Baker from the General Baker Institute to come up here and talk to you right now.
sounds like most of y'all already know who General Baker was, so I don't really need to speak, right? No, but so General Baker, I'm Carolyn Baker. I'm a part of the General Baker Institute. The General Baker Institute is a social justice think tank based in Detroit. It was founded in 2016, named in honor of the late General Gordon Baker Jr., who was a Detroit-based civil rights and labor rights organizer who passed away in 2014. The mission of the General Baker Institute is to advance social justice and economic democracy in the Detroit area and beyond. The organization works to develop and promote policy solutions that address issues related to labor rights, community development, racial justice, and economic inequality. The General Baker Institute hosts a variety of events, including public forums, workshops, conferences, to engage community members and other stakeholders on issues of social justice and economic democracy. Overall, the General Baker Institute is a progressive organization that seeks to empower marginalized communities and promote a more just and equitable society through research and community engagement. Doing this all by meeting people where they are at. In the words of General Baker, our task is to make thinkers out of fighters and fighters out of thinkers. If you don't know where we are located at 15798 Livernois, which is the home of the old Mays Printing Company, the first black printing company in the city of Detroit, which is right off the John C. Lodge Freeway and in between John C. Lodge and Puritan. We have intergenerational transfer of knowledge, and it is incorporated in our goals, including basic life skills such as sewing classes, crafternoons is what we call them, knitting, and all discussions and developing class instructure, youth and basic use of hand tools, i.e. hammers and sickles, screwdrivers, wrenches, and pliers. We are looking forward, we were supposed to open, our grand opening was supposed to be right during COVID. We've been slowly implementing more and more programs since COVID. Several folks have been here. We host our own personal archive, which includes the files, FBI files of General Baker and other members of the League of Revolutionary Black Workers. We have all the newspapers from the Inner City Voice newspaper articles from back in the day. We have our own non-circulating library with the attack on the libraries in the city of Detroit. So I'm glad that we are able to keep a library right off of Livernois so people can actually go and touch a book. We also host an archive of old videos of people such as Dave Moore, Quill Petway, General Baker. So folks, if you're ever looking to get labor history, it's right there. We also have the Midwest Library that recently has come over from Central, and it's come over to General Baker Institute. So with all that being said, we welcome you all to the General Baker Institute. The doors are usually always open. As you can find myself and my aunt there more so than we are at home. So General Baker Institute is a home for everybody here and everyone in our community. Thanks.
All right, we have a couple of videos now we're going to show you from the Whitties. And I feel like I don't have to introduce a lot of people in this room, so we're going to play these videos now.
My name is Gail Whitty. I started coming to the Buck Dinner in the early 1970s, shortly after I moved to Detroit. We sat at Maurice Sugar's table the first year or so, and later we sat at the table of Buck Davis, who was famous for being John Sinclair's attorney. So we were delighted to be part of his entourage. At some point, I started helping Buck with his chores, and later we became headhunters ourselves. In the early days, the headhunters made the food for all the guests. It was a great improvement when we decided the food and drink should be catered. Back then, it was a big honor to be invited to attend the dinner, and if you didn't contribute enough money, you might not be invited back. That's because there was a spirited competition between tables as to which ones brought in the most money. The dinner never allowed speakers, but we did have some big-name entertainers. The ones I can remember are Pete Seeger, John McCutcheon, Tom Paxton, Barbara Dane, comedian Will Durst. The majority of the money raised went to the ACLU, the Lawyers Guild, and Sugar Law. Now, half the money raised goes to those three groups, and the other half to local political organizations, including small ones, to whom our grants make a pivotal difference in their operations. Here's to another 90 years or so, Buck Dinner. Happy to be a part.
Well, I'm going to introduce our friend who has helped organize this whole thing this year. But I think this particular portion of the show really, I don't know if it's a show, but I mean, this segment, we call it transitions because it's about the transitions that we have in life, people who have joined us and people who've left us. And we have I'm sorry. You know, when you MC these things, you're supposed to pay attention. And we saw Gail Whitty's video, but telling you that there are two videos from the Whittys very clearly implies that there will be two videos. And I don't wish to cross Michael Whitty, so let's show the next video. Good gravy, I'm losing.
Dear comrades, this is Mike Whitty, otherwise known as Dr. Detroit, because of my faith in the future of Detroit. My origins with Buck Dinner tie into my civil rights activity in the 60s, where I marched with King and Ruther on Woodward, and later in Mississippi with Friends of SNCC for voter registration, and in 65 in Selma, the march from the Brown Chapel to the Dallas County Courthouse with King and Ruther, nuns, and a wonderful moment in my movement toward the labor left and my PhD on the UAW and my approach to the Buck Dinner founder Morris Sugar in the 70s to sit at his table and join the Buck Dinner, which I've stayed with ever since as a headhunter since the 80s. Nearly 50 years with a table, and now working as Dr. Detroit for Earth Day in the spirit of Detroit to build civic pride and ultimately keep a vision of hope for the ultimate future of world peace and justice. For all of us old-timers, we've gone from the 60s to the cultural wars of today, and just in the last week I've engaged with the Michigan Labor History Society to encourage bus tours, labor bus tours, labor history bus tours, and a Labor Speakers Bureau for local unions to revive the labor movement and strengthen the organizing of Starbucks and such places. And along with that, I ended up in Royal Oak supporting drag queen storytelling against the haters and the homophobes who are using scapegoating and bullying and meanness to destroy respectful and tolerant and civil discourse on the great struggles of our day. Very much part of the civil rights tradition and very much part of the Buck Dinner. And in the experience of my early 30, 50 years in the Buck Dinner, from the labor radicals that I met and doing the PhD to the ones that had tables at the Buck Dinner and all the socialists that I met, from the Communist Party to the industrial workers of the world and the Democratic Socialists, all the way to Bernie Sanders, Black Lives Matter, abortion rights, gay rights. We've always been engaged, not only in fundraising, but organizing. Just like today, all of us have a big struggle in our own time, and we need to be prophets in our own time to keep building the Buck Dinner legacy, to stay hopeful, positive, generous with our contributions, and kind to each other's various differences, which are subsumed in a broader sense of our common ground. That's the key. All of us progressives are a Buck Dinner family, so I think we need to spend our elder years mentoring and empowering youth to carry on the Buck Dinner tradition and expand our united front to defeat fascism. I think we must work together in building the beloved community by opening our hearts and our homes and seeing more of each other each year. And may I bless you and believe that I think love trumps hate in the long run. May you have optimism in your framework of your life and your future. May you have hope in humanity's future, courage to fight for it, the vision to see the happy ending. I wish for every one of us to have peace and love in the rest of our struggle.
I'm going to introduce you too, because that's the way it goes around here.
Okay, okay.
Barbara Ingalls. I wrote that introduction myself.
Tracy Boyd. Okay, we started? We are here to honor our friends who have not made it, that are with us in our heart. And so I would like to start. Martha Sue McNish Cuneo. Martha Cuneo died in 2019 at the age of 86. From the Women's League for Peace and Freedom in Pontiac in the early 60s, to Detroit's Ad Hoc Committee Against Racism in the 70s, and National Lawyers Guild in the 2000s. Martha never stopped working for progressive causes. She passed her love of the Buck Dinner to her daughters and granddaughters.
Remembering Harold Strom. Harold Strom died at the wonderful age of 100 last May. He and his wife Shirley were generous benefactors to the Buck Dinner for over 20 years. Harold was devoted to his family and his faith throughout his life. He was an ardent supporter of many, many good social causes. He believed in the value of hard work and went to work at Crystal Auto Parts until the age of 95. He loved to tell jokes, laugh, and share his laughter with others. Music and singing were always central to his family life. Beloved husband of 75 years to Shirley Strom, a supporter of the Buck Dinner and all of the wonderful social justice organizations we fight for.
And Shirley is here tonight. Shirley. Thank you, Shirley. Father Tom Zarafa. Tom was a music minister at the Archdiocese of Detroit for many years and served at many parishes. He had a bachelor's of music degree from Marygrove College and was an active alum member. As a political and agricultural activist, Tom was vice president of the executive committee of Michigan Coalition for Human Rights and will receive posthumously the Tom Zarafa Activist Award. Other activities include the Sierra Club, Peace Action, Michigan Democratic Party, and ACT UP. Tom was a founding member of Dignity Detroit and an advocate for the LGBTQ community. He even ran for mayor of Oak Park in 2007. Tom was known for his backyard barbecues and holiday gatherings, which brought the community and neighborhoods together. He took vows as a Franciscan brother in 2018.
Glenn Plenenden, great lefty and anti-Vietnam War activist. He helped found the White Panther Party and the Rainbow People. He was the first hippie listed on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. He never denied bombing the CIA building in Ann Arbor, but he was adamant that he damn sure never told any governance snitches about it. Represented by Kunstler Weinglass and our own Buck Davis, who's here with us tonight, those charges were dropped after the defense exposed and the United States Supreme Court outlawed COINTELPRO for warrantless wiretapping. Convicted on a marijuana charge out of Cadillac, Michigan, he learned from the pre-sentence report in 1974 that he had been adopted as an infant. He went on to discover his Odawa and Ojibwe roots in the early 1980s and found the spirituality, serenity, and sobriety which animated the rest of his life. He told his story in the book Lost from the Ottawa, The Story of the Journey Back. His warmth and his wisdom are greatly missed by us. Rest in power.
Annalise Pfeila, passionate social justice advocate and Detroit community organizer. From the Dally in the Alley to the Buck Dinner and a few hundred happy hours, fundraisers, and political events in between. Co-worker at Constitutional Litigation Associates and Goodman and Hurwitz, chronicler of the crimes of George W. Bush, Wall of Shame at CLA. Fearless, feisty, and unashamedly opinionated. A loyal and unwavering friend to so many, she remembered everyone's birthday with a bit of glitz and was way ahead of Facebook. Always there with a shoulder to cry on or a swift kick in the pants as she saw fit. She helped Buck and Cindy represent CLA's clients and to care for their family and friends. Survived by her husband, Peter, she will be missed. Cheers, Annalise.
Father Norman Thomas. Father Thomas was known for his advocacy.
I'll take it.
Take it.
It's okay. Father Thomas was known for his advocacy for the poor, the environment, racial equality, and justice, building a reputation that spread far beyond the Detroit Catholic community and earned him the nickname the People's Pastor. Because I can't read the next one. Okay.
You got this, Boyd.
This is where it stuck the whole time I was making it. There we go.
Richard Nagy. Richard was a veteran of the U.S. Army, a Detroit firefighter, battalion director, secretary of the Detroit Firefighters Union, organic father, cook of enough food to feed the firehouse, teller of tall tales, husband, and a father. We lost Richard after a valiant battle with Lewy body dementia.
Danielle Cataray. Danielle worked as a locomotive engineer for 10 years, worked as a survivor advocate, then attended Cooley Law School. After obtaining her law license, she began practicing criminal law in Wayne County. She was outraged by the court system's re-victimizing survivors of domestic violence. She was constantly absorbing and learning new ways to help protect the rights of others. In the words of her friends, she was a superhero. Fearless, supportive, bold, joyful, and compassionate. Even as we grieve her loss, take solace in the fact that she is helping organize our ancestors to protest injustice. Sorry.
Twyla Meyer. Twyla's obit reads, quote, "A life dedicated to peace and justice in the world." She was an actress, comedian, gardener, animal lover, and activist. In a proclamation issued by the city of Hamtramck following her death, they wrote, quote, "Twyla Frances Meyer was a unique, beautiful, caring person that spent a large part of her life living and loving in the city of Hamtramck, working side by side with her partner of 56 years, Bill Meyer, who is here with us tonight, to leave both intangible and tangible legacies throughout their facilitation of One Hamtramck.
And I don't have the names of the kids, so let's just show them. I screwed up.
Excellent.
Hey, Tracy, quel chapeau.
Where's the, why, thank you. I'm not sure what you said, but thank you. I
That
love
meant nice hat.
you are so continental, Barb.
I try to be continental whenever I can when I'm in a group like this, because here we are the people, yet, you know, every once in a while, you need a nice lid, and guess what?
What?
We're selling those here.
You're kidding me!
We have merch?
We have merch at the tables. I know.
Oh my goodness. You mean
This-
I could buy one of these for myself?
You could buy one, and it's very inexpensive.
Well, how inexpensive are they, Barb Ingalls?
You know, I'm not exactly sure. Are they $20?
I believe they're $25, but wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more?
Get out of here.
What?
Yes.
Do you have any kings?
Fuck no, the monarchy's racist. I also don't have any fascists. But I do have Buck Dinner playing cards. And they are available for a lovely $7 each at our merch table in the front hallway. But wait, there's more.
What?
I know. You can get a cap, the cards, and a beautiful retro 2017 or 2018 pint glass for the low combo cost of $30. Please see your lovely merchandise vendors in the front hallway.
Thank you.
Barbara, is there a limit on how many hats you can buy?
Oh, you can buy as many as you want.
As you want.
They've decided for the Buck Dinner folks, they're going to forego the limit on how much merch you can buy. All right. Well, it's nice to have a little levity in this. This is, you know, as the MC, my job's kind of sometimes to try to make you laugh or something, but, you know, they've kind of taken some weapons away from me for this job. You know, like they killed irony and parody and some of the stuff that I used to go for. Because I can tell you just about anything now, and it won't sound outlandish enough to where you'll know that I'm joking. Anyhow, we're gonna play one more song and then we're gonna eat. And that's what it says on the program. I just like doing that. Some of you looked a little scared, like we weren't supposed to eat yet, but most of you did not. But this is a song Maurice Sugar wrote, another one. And this song, as a songwriter and a singer of social justice songs in particular, it strikes me that this song, like this dinner, the root of it is what my friend Daniel Wolf calls grown-up anger. There's injustices in the world, and enough people got to get upset about it and decide they're going to do something about it. And this song kind of hits that for me. The guy in this song goes everywhere, and they all tell him the same thing, and it doesn't work out very well. Until. I'm spending my nights at the flop house. I'm spending my days on the street. I'm looking for work, but I find none. I wish I had something to eat. But soon, they give me a bowl of soup. They give me a bowl of soup. Well, I spent 20 years in the factory. I did everything I was told. They told me I was loyal and faithful. And now before I'm even old, it's just soup. They give me a bowl of soup. They give me a bowl of soup. Well, I saved $15 with my banker to buy me a car and a yacht. I went out to draw out my fortune. This is the answer I got. Give me a bowl of soup. was my country's reply. They gave me soup, soup. They gave me a bowl of soup, soup, soup. They gave me a bowl of soup. Well, I went on my knees to my seat. I prayed every night to the Lord. Oh, I promised to be meek and submissive. Now I've received my reward. Soup, soup. They gave me a bowl of soup, soup, soup. They gave me a bowl of soup. That's right, folks. Maurice Sugar knew that thoughts and prayers are not enough. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back. You know, we're going to take like a 5-minute break for 10 minutes. We'll come back in about 12 or 15, and we'll get it going again. Thanks a lot. folks, we're going to start the second half here. All right.
No, you not see it. I see how this is going to be. See how they're going to make it. Union people, you can't tell them anything. They don't listen. You tell them, everybody sit down there.
My name is Stephanie, okay?
How things are going. I've been to a few union rallies. I know some of you won't listen until I yell.
Somebody found these.
All right. We have some lost keys here, and so we're going to be auctioning off the car to these keys. To benefit the Buck Dinner. If we can all sit down, we'll start the bidding. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, may I attend? Can I attract your attention to the center ring, please?
Michelle lost her glasses. They're in a white Calvin Klein case.
I have some public service announcements to make here. We have some keys that were lost. If you lost some keys and you're worried about your CVS Extra Care card, if you don't have this, you might not get a 6-mile-long receipt next time you're there. Your keys are up here. My cousin's got half her house wallpapered in those things. She had a kid anyhow. Also, we have lost a glass case. It's white glass case that eyeglasses would fit in. If whoever stole the damn thing would be kind enough to fess up and give it back, we'd be much appreciative. You almost got a car. You were too slow.
No, I have a CVS card.
All right. All right. Folks, there are a lot of labor things going on. How are we doing out there tonight? All right. This is the union hall, so I guess I'll just have to talk like a union guy to get the union people to listen to me. All right. You guys having fun out there? Excellent. Now, you've noticed in the lobby there are some paintings. They are from the Mint Artists Guild. They're created by Detroit youth, funded by the Buck Dinner. It's a great nonprofit that donates artworks to other nonprofits. You check them out there. One's going to the Detroit Justice Center, and the other is going to the Detroit Environment for Justice. And also we have things going on like the Cisco strikes that are happening around. UPS is considering some things. I saw a guy, the CEO of Starbucks, was on TV the other day talking about how he earned his $15 billion salary. And it made me think of something that I learned in a union hall, kind of like this one, is that when somebody tells you that they earned a fortune and got rich by hard work, that the proper question to ask them is, whose hard work was it? Now, the Buck Dinner raises a lot of money, but the other thing that we can do is that we can give our focus and attention to our next speaker here, because I'm going to bring him up here. Our friend Richard Bachman's here from the GEO at the University of Michigan, who are currently on strike in the town where I live. It is important to organize. We all know this. One of the ways we're going to get it done is by listening to each other and figuring things out. So I'm going to turn it over to Richard Bachman. I hope you'll listen, because this is important shit, people.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to Jim Jacobs for inviting me to come to this dinner tonight. As you can hear, I'm not originally from the United States. I'm from Germany. I'm a grad student at the University of Michigan studying history, and I would like to talk a little bit about the strike that is currently happening at the University of Michigan. I'm a fourth-year PhD student in the history department, and I'm a member of the Graduate Employees Organization, or GEO, AFT Local 3550. We probably have some University of Michigan alumni in the room. We maybe even have some GEO former members in the room. All right, all right. For those of you who don't know what GEO is the Union of the Graduate Workers of the University of Michigan on its Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and Flint campus. We fight for all graduate workers on these three campuses, but legally we are only able to represent graduate student instructors and graduate student staff assistants. Those are the people who might have taught you while you were attending the University of Michigan. They might teach your children who are currently attending the University of Michigan, or the ones who teach your grandchildren who are currently attending the university. We are doing essential work at the university, but currently we are getting paid $24K a year. The average grad worker gets paid $24K a year. That is not anywhere close to the living wage that we need in order to survive. A lot of grad workers actually have problems paying their rent, paying for essentials like food and groceries. 4 out of 5 grad workers are actually burdened by HUD standards. 1 out of 10 don't know how to afford their next grocery bill. grad workers regularly have to donate their plasma or sell their eggs in order to make ends meet. Since November, we have been in contract negotiations with the university. Our main ask is a living wage for all grad workers. We have used the MIT living wage calculator and came up with the number of $38,000 for Ann Arbor. We are currently at 24, so if you go to math, that means we are 60% below that number. So we're asking for a 60% raise, which might sound outrageous, but it kind of shows you the discrepancy between what we are currently getting and what we need in order to pay rent and our grocery bills. You can, yeah. You want them up now? No, in a little bit. Okay. I'm saying these kind of things to give you an idea of what the campaign is all about. On top of asking for an increase of our wages, we are also asking for smaller class sizes to increase the quality of instruction at the university. We asked to expand healthcare for those who need it. Among those are our members who are trans. We asked for special funding for reproductive health, students facing workplace harassment, or visa-fee burdened international students like myself. And we are also asking for a community-based unarmed emergency response team instead of armed cops. So far, we have been able to make some progress at the bargaining table, but overall, academic HR has been extremely dismissive of our demands. So our membership last week decided to go on an unrestricted strike. In a historic vote, an unprecedented number of graduate workers came out to cast their ballot, and 95% voted in favor of a strike. So since Wednesday, we are on strike officially. The university's response has been extremely harsh. We are talking here about a powerhouse of American liberalism and progressivism. People like our current president, Santa Ono, or our beloved provost, Lori McCauley, came out, and they're currently threatening graduate workers with having to report whether they are on strike or not. If they are not comply with this policy, they are threatened with termination. The university has threatened to dock pay for sure for striking workers. And they have on Thursday filed an injunction against the union trying to break it. We actually have a court date scheduled for Tuesday with some opening hearings about that. And of course, we continue our strike, and we hope to continue our strike even beyond that. We are fighting for a living wage, and we are fighting to increase quality of instruction at the University of Michigan, working conditions for grad workers and campus workers in general, and a better, more inclusive, equitable university. The University of Michigan is a rich institution. It's the richest public institution, university in the United States with an endowment of $17 billion. $9 billion of those are unrestricted funds, which could be easily used to pay graduate workers and frankly all workers at the University of Michigan the wage that they deserve. That's what we are asking for, and we will continue to fight for these demands. So what can you do? Write to leaders like our dear president and our provost and say how disgusted you are by the anti-labor policy and anti-labor stance. Consider supporting our strike fund, through which we are trying to offset some of the financial hardship that might be caused by the university's punitive actions. Right now, we have raised $56,000 with the help of 816 supporters of our campaign. And honestly, come out and join us on our picket lines in Ann Arbor. There's going to be a picket line on Monday here in Detroit in front of the Detroit Center from 9 to noon. Please come out in force, support us, solidarity forever. Thank you.
Man, I played on the picket line for the GEO about 20 years ago when they were trying to organize, and I'm really glad that they're sticking with it. And we really need to support, I grew up in a union family, and I never really thought of academic people as union people, because my dad was an iron worker, my grandfather worked at the Rouge. But if we want to have a union movement going into the future, folks, we better figure out how to organize other fields of labor, because solidarity, like Miguel Cabrera in his prime, hits to all fields. No. We're gonna do this video. I think we're gonna do the video. We're gonna move you on to we've got a video here. This one is from Jessica Care Moore.
This poem is for Kwame Beard. Rest in peace, King of Cass Corridor. Where are the people? Where are the one-way tickets? Who signed the death certificates? Where are the magicians, the madmen, the toothless, the smoothest, the poets? The corner store prophets, the bus stop historians, the traffic stoppers. Where are the people? Where are the blues? Under which pile of gravel? Where are they buried? Hurricane Cass Corridor. Where is the soil, the soul, the socks, the shoes? Where is the heroin? Where are the pills? Where are the women? Where are the thrills? Where is Cass Corridor? My student asks, is it a building? Is it this way? Is it that way? Your school is sitting in it. I answer, you is it. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs have parks. The parks don't have children. Where are the people? Where are the people? The stepped over, the forgotten Holocaust, the fragile, the beautiful, the fast talkers, the backward walkers, the 3 a.m. stalkers. Where did they take them? When will they return? Where is the balance? Where is the money? Where are the schools? Where are the people? Where are the people? We all got Wi-Fi. Nobody getting high outside. Where are the beds? Where is they heads? Where are the recognizable street signs? Where is Joe Louis? Where are the black people? My white neighbor asked me, Jessica, where are the black people? Where are the chosen people? Where are our hearts, our guitars? Where are our bass players? Kenny Mack, Anthony Tosin, rest in peace. Where are the anointed, the children of God? Where is the sage, the holy water? Where is the black imagination located? How much does it cost per square feet to rent there? Is there a rent to own your black imagination option? Where are the couples fighting in the alleys? Where are the purple flavor Mad Dog 2020 labels? Where are the needles? Where is the good time? Where did all these goddamn bike lanes come from?
Yeah, where are the people? Where are the people? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? All the people. Where are the people? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did my people go?
Where is the line to simply exist? Where is the painted line to live, to breathe? Where are the parks with swings? Where are the children supposed to live? Where are the children supposed to run? Where are the twilight teasers, the moonlight mythology makers? Where are the military vets? Where are our mentally ill? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? San Francisco, Oakland, Harlem, Detroit, Chicago, Fort Worth. Do you know? Do you know, huh? Have you seen them? Did they all die so New Detroit could live? Did they all die so New Detroit could live? Where's your conscience? Where's this nonsense coming from? Where is humanity? Where are the people? The one-way tickets. The message is still in the bottle. Where are the indigenous? Where are the salt mines? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? When you find them, please tell them I have an overpriced gentrified cheese and pork pizza with their names on it. Tell them I am writing for them so they won't disappear without a fight, without a fight, without a fight.
Without a fight. Where are the people? Where are the people? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did my people go? Where did my people go? Where did my people go? The copper, the silver, and the gold. Where did my people go? Where did my
No questions? It's an election year coming up, folks. Questions are good, and we're going to be all right. Okay. Guess we'll get back to the program. We're going to tee up a couple of videos here. We've got some of last year's grantees. Some of the money from this goes to fund projects like the next two videos that you're going to see. And security, there's been a breach. So this next one is a grantee video followed by another grantee video, and then we're going to have two videos from Jim and Vass Jacobs. That's what we got going on.
This is Fermi 2, the largest Mark I reactor in the world, the same reactor as the Fukushima plant that melted down in Japan. The reactor sits on the shores of Lake Erie in southeast Michigan, threatening the safety of the Great Lakes and surrounding areas. It is owned and operated by DTE Electric Company. This isn't even beginning to take into account the devastating effects on the ecosystem, cancer rates, or other health impacts of radiation. As a part of a $200 billion effort to reduce radioactivity in the affected area, 14 million cubic meters of topsoil was collected and bagged from the exclusion zone, but no one knows what to do with it. This is the Fermi 2 complex and its immediate neighbors. The complex currently houses around 650 metric tons of nuclear waste, which will take up to 100,000 years to break down. No safe storage solution has ever been found. The surrounding communities faces rising cancer rates, which have been found to coincide with the operation of the plant. A group of physicians, they did a particular study which showed that cancer rates were under the national average before Fermi 2 went online, and after Fermi 2 went online, there's been consistent growth to now above the national average. Thermal pollution from more than 40 million gallons of wastewater that Fermi 2 discharges into Lake Erie every day raises the temperatures of the lake and contributes to the growing toxic algae blooms. These algae blooms endanger public health, aquatic ecosystems, and local economies. This is the 10-mile radius around Fermi 2, the only area that DTE has an evacuation plan for. People in this zone are the only U.S. residents around Fermi that can apply for KI vouchers. KI tablets can reduce the threat of thyroid cancer for those exposed to radioactive iodine. It will only help protect people from the radioactive iodine and not the many other potential sources of radiation poisoning. We know that the effects of a meltdown of a Mark I reactor in Fukushima traveled much further than 10 miles. And the Canadian government provides Canadian and First Nation citizens with free KI tablets for people within a 50-mile radius of Fermi 2. After the Fukushima nuclear plant meltdown in Japan, the United States urged its citizens to evacuate a 50-mile radius around the plant. The plan for folks in the Detroit area or Toledo is say your prayers. The mayflies on Lake Erie hatched off and they swarmed the transformer nearby the reactor and caused the power to blow. March 2011. Fukushima meltdown confirms for the world the severity of the backup generator design flaw. In December of 2017, an external audit confirms that Fermi 2 has the same flaw and that it needs to be fixed. DTE delays repair until they are pressured by the public and fined $375,000. In July 2020, mayflies swarmed the transformer and shut it down completely. If the mayflies had swarmed the transformer before DTE had fixed the generators, we could have had the same type of meltdown that happened at Fukushima. So we were this close to having the same kind of meltdown here in Detroit. This is the 500-mile radius, which encompasses not only the land, but the Great Lakes watershed. The Great Lakes make up 20% of the world's fresh water, and should something go wrong with the plant operations or waste storage at Fermi 2, these waters and the people, ecosystems, and economies that rely on them would pay the price. The nuclear fuel chain is responsible for carbon emissions and dangerous pollution during mining, milling, enrichment, construction, transportation, and decommissioning. Everything from the waste storage to decommissioning to even running the plant is subsidized by government taxpayers. It's bigger than just the plants, and it's global. It's across the world. We are paying with our planet, and we are paying with our lives. Renewable technologies are readily available. They cost far less on many levels and can be used instead of dirty, unsafe nuclear energy. Together, we can move towards a world that's free from nuclear energy, that is powered by renewables, and this world will be a more accessible, fair, and just energy future for all.
All right, the graphics department has alerted me that we have not been using their graphics enough. They made this beautiful buckometer graphic so we could chart the progress, and the MC's been remiss. So let's check the buckometer, shall we, fellas? I don't want the graphics union coming after me at the, oh, look at that. We're up to 40,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're gonna ask you for more because that's just how we are. But I also, if we don't have any, do we have any questions? When's the music starting? Wow, I like your playing too. We're going to cue up another video here. We've got Jim Jacobs and Vasily Jacobs here. We've got videos from each of them. I'm just going to share those for you right now. All right.
I went to my first buck dinner in the early 1970s and found it this really strange collection of people wearing hunting outfits, telling corny political jokes, and drinking lots of Russian vodka. But I stayed on, and I realized there was something very significant with this dinner. It was not only a place to raise money, but it was also a place where you renewed ties and developed a kind of movement in the Detroit metropolitan area. So I stayed on, became a headhunter, and, building upon the foundation of a lot of the people who started the dinner, a number of us worked and developed the dinner into its present format with lots of headhunters, lots of people attending, and raising a good deal of money for activities. But we should never forget that this dinner has become an important part of the experience of left and progressive people in this community, and its real importance is that we see each other and we work together to promote change.
Hi everybody, my name is Vasily, and I just want to thank you for coming out to the Buck Dinner. Almost 100 years of this tradition of good people getting together in what is a really relaxing communal event. We share some food, we share some drink, we share songs, stories of positive messages, whether you're an environmentalist, a social justice advocate, whether you're into unions and economic justice. Whether you're into peace and stopping these wars out here, we're putting our dollars and our bucks towards these good causes, grassroots organizations, small outfits, and as well as big outfits that are going to make an impact. So enjoy yourselves tonight. Have a good time. Meet some people. Put your dollars towards these great efforts. And really, let's make it another 100 years. So thank you for coming to the Buck Dinner as I have all these years. I'll see you at the next one. Bye.
emceeing something that has videos and things, because I appreciate we're asking you to divert your attention from here to there. We've got another video here. It's from a poet, from the Inside Out Poets, and it's Cassidy Howard, and there's a poem from Cassidy here.
Spartan strong. MSU, we love thy shadows when twilight silence falls. Echo lingering whispers through vacant, eerie halls. A sign outside reads Spartan strong. I watch a classmate analyze the words and her tears fall before long. For some reason, every tragedy needs a slogan, and strong is more often than not interwoven, and I'm not quite sure if that's the emotion strong. You hear that phrase and you think of Superman, Mr. Incredible sorting through rubble in the blaze, walking through walls fearlessly, a one-man team navigating life peerlessly, and I am not. I was terrified. I still am. It's 4 a.m. and my eyes are open wide. I saw a dark room and I froze, my breath caught in my chest, and I am prosing on about the same 4 hours on loop. But I still won't let anyone tell me I am not my own type of strong. Because we haven't seen a comic where Superman looks in the mirror and finds the strength to smile, where he tries to write a reason and wakes up realizing every day he has to make it worthwhile, because I got to survive. I need to live and not just be alive. I never saw Clark Kent find the strength to ask for help or learn to put himself first when the world shows you its worst. And I missed the episode where Spider-Man's laughs turned to sobs on a dorm room futon when he tried so hard to smile and it faltered. So he got a crash course in letting people hold him. They may have lifted cars, but I lifted myself out of bed, and it is a thin connecting thread, but it counts to me. We might not walk through walls. You might see us stumble and fall, bend under the weight of the plate that was given a bigger helping than we know what to do with. We might not feel like that definition of strong. But man, Mr. Incredible couldn't be Spartan strong if he tried. Thank you. When I was 8. When I first heard the sob-stained voice of a teacher telling me where in a classroom I could hide. Hardly older than the Sandy Hook students, but like them, apparently old enough to look appetizing to a gun. I was 10 when I heard a man with a rifle was walking around my school. We hid behind a piano. I was 12 when I heard my name was found on a list and handcuffs found their way around my classmates' wrists, and I wrote to the world begging for any kind of change. I was 13 when I heard another 17 funerals would be held for another 17 students who only wanted to go to class. I was 16 when I heard people only a few hours away were robbed of 4 classmates, 4 friends, 4 siblings, 4 children. I was 17 when I heard that 19 children the same age as my little brother were murdered. And I wrote again asking if the NRA would pay for those caskets, but I never got an answer. We were 7, we were 8, we were 10, we were 12, we were 13, we were 16, I was 18 when I heard the sirens, when I heard the sobs, when I heard the police say my dorm hall name. And I have heard thoughts and prayers, I have heard change, I have heard reform, from an age where those words were no more but mere grown-up talk, but I continue to hear the man on the television tell me every single sign that we should have seen. as if that keeps me from sitting in class with no air in my chest because I can't figure out what would break the window next to me, as I am grappling with the fact that being in a school is a political statement, as I am grappling with the fact that I don't know how to stop looking over my shoulder, convincing myself it's just a door, it's not a gun this time. It was 2 weeks after being barricaded when I heard someone said they were going to bring a gun to my brother's school. And I still haven't heard of any change.
Oh, man. Wow. All right. Well, we want to send our thoughts out to our friend Jaron, who's laid up, who would be here, but he's not here because he can't be. You know, I think they're going to probably consider hiring a professional MC for next year, so I want to thank you all for being here. We have a, no, I wasn't sucking up. I didn't mean to do that. We got one more video, and it's a video of someone who's here, so I'm going to try not to look at him while it's on the screen, but here's a video made by our friend Larry Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Larry Gabriel. I have been involved with the Buck Dinner since 1997, and I've been a headliner since about 1999. I came to the Buck Dinner as part of my association with the Metro Times and Ron Williams. And I really love that the Buck Dinner's commitment is to civil liberties. And I got to tell you, I think the Buck Dinner is about the best thing in Detroit.
All right, we have a live speaker now. I know she's here because I was just talking to her a few minutes ago, but from the National Lawyers Guild. Ah, you hit on me. Here's Julie Hurwitz. Julie will be singing with me after this.
No, you
You're not-
do not
no.
want me to
Come
sing.
on.
Trust me.
Do you want in this one or that one?
It doesn't matter. Whichever one you want me to use.
That one? Okay.
This is for the non-singers, this mic. So you've been asking, hi everyone, I'm Julie Hurwitz. I'm here on behalf of the National Lawyers Guild, one of the original grantees of the Buck Dinner. And Chris has been asking who has a question, who has a question. I have a question. Here's the question, and I think we may all be hearing this question sooner than we would like. Are you now, or have you ever been, a member of the National Lawyers Guild? Who in this room is or has ever been a member of the National Lawyers Guild? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. Who in this room has ever had to be represented by the National Lawyers Guild? Raise your hand. Okay. Not enough of you. The Lawyers Guild, as you know, there are many members here, was founded in 1937 by George Crockett, by Ernie Goodman, by Maurice Sugar. It was the first bar association to integrate its ranks. It was created in protest of the American Bar Association refusal to admit people of color into their organization. And we've been going strong ever since. And by the way, speaking of George Crockett, I urge you all to buy Peter Hammer and Ed Littlejohn's book, No Equal Justice, the story of George Crockett, and in large part, the story of the National Lawyers Guild. It's an amazing read, and it'll really inspire all of you. We in this city, in this state, in this country are at a crossroads. Fascism is quickly and rapidly making its way into this country, and we need activists and we need progressive people's lawyers now more than ever. This past year has been a very active and vibrant one for the Guild. As you all are familiar with the Legal Observer program, we provide legal observers and have and are on call 24/7 to protect anti-fascists, those who protect reproductive rights, immigrant rights, Palestinian rights, LGBTQ rights, police racist violence, corporate greed, Veterans for Peace, tenants' rights. The Lawyers Guild was instrumental in working with our member, Tanya Phillips, and the Sugar Law Center, and getting the city of Detroit to recognize the right to counsel for tenants who are about to lose their homes. The Lawyers Guild was one of the 500 signatories on the letter that Barbara Barefield and NLG member Huwaida Araf talked about earlier on in this program. The Lawyers Guild, over this past year, successfully sued the city of Detroit on behalf of the Detroit Will Breathe organization and on behalf of the legal observers themselves for the violent attacks on the protesters back in May through August and September of 2020 on the heels of the murder of George Floyd. The Lawyers Guild is one of the founding members of the Coalition for Police Transparency and Accountability. We are active, we are vibrant, we've been around for 90-some years, and we will continue to be the people's lawyers to fight against what is coming on us in this country to protect the rights of people. The premise of the National Lawyers Guild is human rights are more sacred than property rights. We continue to abide by that and are committed to that principle, and hopefully we will not only defeat fascism, but we will have true democracy and, dare I say, maybe socialism in this country. We need Give Your Money. It's the Lawyers Guild, the Sugar Law Center, all the scores of organizations we've been hearing from tonight and hearing about. The more we give, we got to get that buckometer up there. The more we give, the more we are able to fight back. We got to fight back. Thank you.
Julie Hurwitz, folks. Oh, man. Now, I've never had to use the National Lawyers Guild, but it has given me some solace. I don't know why, but occasionally when I play gigs and sing some of my songs, lawyers like Julie, or one time Carrie Moss from the ACLU came up to me and gave me her card and said, "You probably won't need this, but just in case you do." Is it Sugar Burn? And where are the mics? You got that one and you're going to be right here? All right. We got some music for you, folks. We're not quite done yet, and we're real glad to have him here, direct from the Sugar Law Center. Here is Tony Paris and the Sugar Law Center.
Thank you all for being so patient. You know, Joe Hill a long time ago said, "Don't mourn," which, if you ask me, a lot of this has felt like mourning. He said, "Don't mourn, organize. Organize each other. Feel free. There's no quiet signs for me. You can go around and talk to somebody who has a case, who has an activism case next to you." That's what Maurice Sugar and the Sugar Law Center believed in a long, long time ago. That this shouldn't be a grave tribute. This should actually be a celebration of how all you beautiful people came out tonight on a rainy day and helped us, helped the Sugar Law Center, helped the ACLU, a million beautiful organizations to do that. And Maurice Sugar, when he started the Buck Dinner, if he watched 25 dead people before 2 young people died, he would not be happy, people. He would not. But he would be happy, I swear to you, if we all understood that in 1936 he wrote this poem. And he wrote this poem as the organizer genius that he was, and he said, "Listen, the wage system that we work under is oppressive. Whether you're a service industry worker, whether you are an actual auto worker, which we got a big contract coming up, and we got Mr. Fain in presidency now, right? He said if you're a retail worker, you still have the power that you need. And he wrote this song in 1936, or these lyrics. Now, we tried to put this to music because he didn't put music to it. But I know that you don't want to go home just yet, right? And can we get a big hand for Mr. Chris Buhalis? Do you know how hard it is for Mr. Chris Buhalis to come out here every day, playing some songs? Barb Engels for organizing everything. Can we get a big hand for them? Artists are workers too, you know, and I thank them. I just told Chris before we played that he played a Sugar Law fundraiser in 2005. He did his time. Anyway. One more thing. These are all civil rights attorneys behind you. Show me another band. We have Mr. Howland Locklear here, civil rights attorney. Hannah Fieldstra, Michael Brumo, Phil Keller, God bless him. It ain't easy to do. It ain't easy to do. We are the ones who make you food, yet we are hungry. We make you food while we're hungry all the time. Bring you won't never get what you got with our stomachs stuck away against the spines. We are the ones who make you cause that we are. We are the ones who make you cause all the time. Cold and damp and dark, so you might have a spark. Stay warm and find a light. But we're letting you know we're not too slow, just stuck fighting behind the line. What do you mean when you said no, we are free to make you more money all the time? Make you more money all the time. Come on, Mike. We are the ones who make you clothes and we are ragged. Make you clothes and yet we're ragged all the time. Roll, roll from high to low. Hand me down to dry out on the line. We're the ones who built your tanks, yet we are worried. We're worried you might use them a long time. Yeah, we built your tanks while the bus made us wait. Why you wanna take us for a ride? What a crowd, huh? I don't know about you, but you might be able to clap to this one. It goes like this. And thank you for everybody putting the lyrics up, which I still haven't seen. Is the movement dead? Are we dead? All right, and this next song is about myself. It's called Sit Down. When it's how the can of the union man, sit down, sit down. When the boss won't talk, you come across, sit down, sit down. Sit down and take a seat. Sit down and rest your feet. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Woo! When the boss don't talk, just take a walk, sit down, sit down. When the boss said that, just take a chair, sit down, sit down, sit down. Just take a seat, sit down and rest your feet. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Woo! When they smile and say don't raise and pay, sit down, sit down. When the boss just said he'll want a chair, sit down, sit down, sit down. Just take a seat, sit down, just rest your feet. Sit down, you got 'em beat. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Ah! Thank you all for sticking around. There's some great speakers to come and all the movement things you need. I really appreciate every single donation, and the buck meter says we still have some time to go. So if you take a look at this beautiful buck meter, scientifically tested, we just need a little bit more. And if you could just dig deep and think about these beautiful times that we all had a long, long time ago when we stopped the war and when we let it slip. If you could just donate a little bit, we could all jump back to punk rock, right? God bless you all. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I think your dad's here.
My one friend. That's
That's what I always
Nice that we got to do this in person this year. Most of the songs sung tonight were written in the 1930s. The songwriters back then had an advantage over songwriters today because they didn't have to convince the normal working people that billionaires were not their friends. I'm going to sing a song because I'm used to singing when people are only half listening. My daddy worked the high steel with the wind, the weld, and the climb. He's got red-winged boots, his jeans tucked in, a worker on a picket line. When the work bell rang, he answered every time. My daddy worked the high steel, his daddy worked the line. He said he was a greaser, jamming Jerry Lee in his 55. The war had been won, he was an only son, the whole world felt so alive. He met the girl he'd marry at the grill by the Diamond Five, and he got a union card, and he had a car to drive. And I learned from him that working ain't no sin, 'cause working people built your town, whatever town you're in. They lost their hearing to the clanging beams of that shrieking shop floor wine. My daddy worked the high steel, his daddy worked the line. I don't give a shit. Okay. I'm going to sing the next verses next year so you have something to look forward to, folks, because I don't want to wear you out too much. So let's get this song sung, shall we? We're all going to sing together because we're all here together in unity and solidarity. And here's the time where we will now come together in song. It's a glorious moment we have where we came here, maybe we didn't know each other, and we came here as strangers. And we can sing this song together, and then we can leave as strangers who sang this song together. And I think it's going to be a really beautiful moment. These guys are back there. It's the mic, Bob. It's just the mic. When the union's inspiration to the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines, built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. We stand outcast and starving, miss the wonders that we've made. The union makes us strong. Taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without a brain or muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn. The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong. Hey, sing along, folks. Half-ass ain't gonna cut it in this world. In our hands is placed a power greater than the hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old. The union makes us strong. Sing like free people. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. One more. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Look at that, folks, we got there. Thank you all. Big love to everybody. The Buck Dinner, all the folks that put this on, all the headhunters, the two Nicks. If you lost anything, it's up here.